Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. How are we all doing? I hope we're all okay on this day. How am I doing, you say? I'm great, thank you very much. And what I'm trying to do right now is I'm trying to look into this camera right here, rather than the actual screen here. And you might notice this in a few videos, and I do apologise for that. But is time running out for Brendan Rodgers, and should he be sacked? That's the big question of the day. But if you haven't done it already, guys, please subscribe to this channel. I'm trying to bring it out bi-daily, if that makes sense, every other day, as well as I'm being on other channels. So I'm really trying to give this a good crack of the whip. And yeah, let's talk into this this game, which is Spurs 6, Leicester City 2. And you know, we could talk about how good Spurs were and how good Son was when he came on the bench. He scored a 14-minute hat-trick, which, you know, probably was needed for Son this season, because there was questions over him already, even though we all know he's a world quality player and a world class player. But a 14-minute hat-trick sort of shows the level where he's at, and to score the level of goals that he is doing right now with his left foot and his right foot, he is at peak performance, isn't he? And this Spurs teams look, at times they look like they're just about getting away with it, but at certain times, like yesterday, they did look like a team who, you know, could beat anyone on their day, including Manchester City, who look like an absolute force of nature right now. But I think the best thing to talk about today is Leicester City, really, because I haven't spoke about them much on this channel. The only thing I've spoke about them on is maybe the predictions or how the transfer window is doing so far. And really, I just wanted to talk about how they were doing this season, because I mean, you look at them, 1 point in 7 games, you know, 1 point, 0 wins, 6 losses. I mean, even Leicester yesterday looked like they had one of their better games, to be honest with you. Even though they lost 6-2, that may sound stupid to say, but in the first half they look good value for their money, and Maddison looks like a real bright spark this season. And I think that we all know the issue is what the issue is, and they look so suspect at the back, don't they? They look so weak and they look so porous in terms of counter attacks, and they look good going forward like yesterday, and they have scored quite a few goals, but they've conceded, like I've said, 22 goals they've conceded in 7 games, which is a Premier League record first and foremost, but it is the most a team has conceded after 7 games since 1965, which was West Ham. And England didn't even have a World Cup at that time, so that sort of shows how poor Leicester have been this season. Do you count this as a Brendan Rodgers issue? Maybe you could say that. You could say it as a term in terms of how he gets the team set up in the first place. But really, I think he looks fed up, doesn't he, Brendan Rodgers? He looks completely fed up, and rightly so, really, because obviously the owners have had issues with money at the minute because of the after effects of COVID and people not flying because they own an airline business, and that's probably the biggest feat other than events. You'd say that would be the biggest sector that's been affected in the world, and it really shows with this Leicester team that they have been affected as well. And Brendan Rodgers is clearly a good manager. You know, they finished 5th twice in a row and then 8th last season, which is surprising because everyone thought they were written off until they finished 8th, which it was a surprise when I looked it up myself last season. And the season before that, they looked like they were ready for the Champions League, and they were until the last couple of games. They sort of just bottled it last second, and you could say that's in terms of squad depth, etc. That could be an ongoing thing. But as I say, the lack of funding for this Leicester team, they only brought in Wout Faes. I'm sorry if I said that wrong. I've said a few names wrong in this channel recently, but also Alex Smithies. I mean, just a backup keeper at the end of the day, and everyone's memeing on Danny Ward at the minute, but he's having no protection from the back 4 or back 5. Brendan Rodgers doesn't know what to do with his front lineup, and getting rid of Kasper Schmeichel was a bit of a weird one. I'm not sure. I think he wanted to play either Europa League or Champions League football at this stage in his career, and you can understand why. But for a player that's been there 10 years or plus, just to be let out the back door like that is a sad state of affairs. And the likes of Fofana and Tielemans, Fofana got his move in the end for 70 million. Where's that money gone, essentially, back into the squad? Nowhere. I know they were only given 2 days before, but the sort of lack of planning this summer, like I said a few weeks ago in how the transfer window gone so far, I said I can't grade them so far because they've not done anything, and I expected them to do at least something before the last day of the transfer window, when they sort of panic buy that that centre-back that's sort of unproven in the Premier League, the Belgian. I mean, Tielemans as well, like I said, he looks like he's ready to leave. He looks like a player that's just sort of here for a bit of a cruise this season, ready for his contract to end at the end of the season. It's a sorry state of affairs, isn't it, for Leicester at the minute? And I feel like I don't think you're going to get a better manager than Brendan Rodgers. I think Leicester will be okay this season, but right now, it's not looking great, is it? And does he need to be sacked? I mean, look at the games that they've had away. I'm not sure why I do that. Look at the games that they had away. They've had Arsenal away, Chelsea away, a flying Brighton this season away, who were on peak of what they can achieve as a football club, and Spurs away. So the 4 away games have been pretty tough, as well as the fact that the game last week against Aston Villa at home, a winnable game. Brentford, they should have won that game, but they got done by I won't say a masterclass, but sort of like a really good in-play tactical awareness of Thomas Frank, and I think Brendan Rodgers got unstuck by that. It's a huge game next week, is what I'll say as well. Huge against Nottingham Forest. You could say that is not in terms of just the league, not in terms of Brendan Rodgers. It is a sort of East Midlands derby, isn't it? I think it is the closest derby that Leicester have got. If they lose that one, then I think it's writing on the wall, isn't it, for Leicester City? And Brendan Rodgers is going to get a good job wherever he goes. It's a sorry state of affair, because even a year ago we were saying he could get a job wherever he wanted. It's just that he didn't get the funding at Liverpool at the time, and he gives them excuses. And ultimately, in football, there's an arc, isn't there? There's a storyline, and right now I feel like this is Brendan Rodgers' last sort of scene, and we're almost ready for him to leave the Premier League with Leicester City. I think Leicester will be fine, like I say. But guys, what do you think about this video? What do you think? It's too soon for Brendan Rodgers to be sacked? I personally think so. But what do you guys think? Do you think he needs to go right now? Because football is an ever-changing world, and it is a knee-jerk reaction society and a knee-jerk reaction sector in sport, isn't it? So what do you think about Leicester? Spurs, obviously, amazing so far this season. Who do you think is going to stay if they go down? It's really early to say, like I said, and also, if Leicester are going to survive, where do you think they're going to survive? And with Brendan Rodgers this season, I think right now they're hoping for a mid-table finish, and that's really what you've got to aim for now. Now, guys, I hope you like this video. It was just a sort of a quick, brief summary on Brendan Rodgers and my thoughts on it. I hope you agree with me. Let me know in the comments below what your thoughts on Leicester City, like I say. Please subscribe. I've been seeing the views on the Costa video, weirdly enough, and the Tuchel video go up quite a lot compared to the rest of the videos. So it's good to see. It's good to see this channel ever so slowly growing. Yesterday I brought out a pod with Carl. Please go and watch that one. We talk nonsense for an hour. We talk absolute waffle. We're trying to keep it as little about football and more about nonsense as possibly we can. It probably will be on Spotify at some point, so please catch us on there as well. Like I say, please subscribe, like, and I will see you soon.